Most people think a mansion is the ultimate symbol of wealth. A gated driveway, a home theater, maybe a pool. That is not even the beginning of what's on this list. We're going level by level, from an estate that makes a normal mansion look like a studio apartment, all the way to something so enormous that calling it a house is almost embarrassing. 7 levels. Let's go. Level 7. Palo Alto Mansion. Mark Zuckerberg spent years projecting the image of a simple guy. Same gray t-shirt, modest car. Then you look at what he built in Palo Alto, and the image gets complicated. His compound sits in one of the most expensive zip codes in America, assembled block by block over years. Total investment estimated around $50 million before renovation. Multiple structures, guest houses, a gym, a pool, and enough security infrastructure to protect someone who is, whether he likes it or not, one of the most famous humans alive. Here's the detail most people don't know. When neighbors complained about years of construction disruption, Zuckerberg didn't offer to speed things up. He bought their houses. He systematically purchased surrounding properties to control who lives near him, building a private buffer zone inside a dense residential neighborhood. The man who built a platform connecting billions quietly disconnected himself from his immediate neighbors in the most literal way possible. $50 million, a neighborhood he partially owned. And this is still the bottom of the list. Level 6. Xanadu 2.0. Before Bezos and Musk became household names, Bill Gates defined what it meant to be the richest person on Earth and build accordingly. He named his home Xanadu 2.0, a reference to the fictional palace in Citizen Kane. That choice of name tells you everything about the ambition. Located on the eastern shore of Lake Washington in Medina, Washington, the property took 7 years and $63 million to complete, over $130 million in today's money. 66,000 square feet, larger than most office buildings, built by 300 construction workers over nearly a decade. The technology inside was science fiction made real. Every guest wears an electronic pin that communicates with sensors throughout the house, automatically adjusting temperature, lighting, and music to their personal preferences as they move room to room. A 23-car underground garage, a library with a hand-painted dome ceiling that cost over $1 million, a trampoline room tall enough to actually use. The annual property tax on Xanadu 2.0 exceeds $1 million. Gates pays that every single year, just the tax bill. Level 5. Beverly Hills Warner Estate. Jeff Bezos already owned 2 adjacent properties in Beverly Hills. Then, in 2020, he spent $165 million on the estate next door, setting the record for the most expensive residential real estate transaction in California history. He wasn't diversifying, he was completing a set. The Warner Estate covers 9 acres in the heart of Beverly Hills. 9 acres in one of the densest, most expensive urban environments on the planet. The main house is 13,000 square feet, which on 9 acres almost sounds restrained until you realize the grounds are the entire point. Formal gardens designed like a French chateau, a full tennis court, a pool house, a guest house, a private park with a mansion sitting inside it. The history gives it something money can't manufacture. Built in 1937 by Jack Warner, co-founder of Warner Brothers, it hosted Gary Cooper, James Cagney, Ronald Reagan. Bezos didn't just buy land, he bought a piece of American cultural mythology. Total Beverly Hills investment across all 3 properties, over $200 million. And that's where things become even more interesting. Level 4. Villa Leopolda. The French Riviera has no shortage of extraordinary estates. Villa Leopolda exists in a different tier entirely. Built by a king, later occupied by one of history's greatest inventors, and listed at a price that made the global real estate market genuinely stop. The villa sits on nearly 20 acres of terraced gardens in Villefranche-sur-Mer, between Nice and Monaco, descending toward the Mediterranean. Originally built in 1902 by King Leopold II of Belgium, a private gift for his young mistress, Thomas Edison later used it as a personal research base during his time on the Riviera. This property has never been ordinary for a single day of its existence. 14 buildings across those 20 acres. Gardens maintained by a full-time horticultural team. Views photographers fly to France just to capture. The asking price? $750 million. In 2009, a buyer agreed to purchase it for $500 million, then withdrew before signing, forfeiting a $75 million deposit. Someone simply walked away from $75 million. The next level involves something larger than real estate. Level 3. Lanai Private Island Estate. At some point, even a $400 million estate still still shares a world with other people. Larry Ellison looked at that reality and decided to eliminate it entirely. In 2012, the Oracle co-founder purchased 98% of Lanai, Hawaii, the sixth largest of the Hawaiian island, for approximately $300 million. Not a compound on an island. The island itself, 88,000 acres, 18 miles long, 11 miles wide. A resident population of around 3,000 people. Ellison didn't buy a home, he became the functional sovereign of an inhabited piece of American geography. His private estate sits at an elevated position, surrounded by a landscape that is literally and entirely his. He operates 2 Four Seasons resorts on the island, runs a working farm, and has invested in solar infrastructure to move Lanai toward energy independence. He isn't just living there, he's running it. When Ellison wants to visit, he arrives by private jet to an airport that functions primarily as his personal entry point. But compared to what comes next, this was still surprisingly contained. Level 2. Antilia. Every estate on this list exists somewhere that already understands extreme wealth. A Silicon Valley suburb, a Seattle lakeshore, the Riviera, a private island. The surroundings absorb the scale. They were built for it. Antilia sits in the middle of Mumbai, not in a gated enclave. On Outermount Road, in one of the most densely populated cities on Earth, Mukesh Ambani built a 27-story private skyscraper for one family. The building rises nearly 600 feet. Cost between $1 and $2 billion. 6 floors dedicated entirely to parking. A garage for 168 cars. 3 helicopter landing pads. A 500-seat private movie theater. A ballroom. A snow room that manufactures real snow on demand. In a city where temperatures almost never fall below 60 degrees. So his children could experience something they would never encounter naturally. 600 permanent staff to operate one family's home. 600 employees. The visual contrast between Antilia and the streets surrounding it is the loudest architectural statement about inequality standing anywhere on Earth right now. Level 1. Istana Nurul Iman Palace. Everything before this was a house. Istana Nurul Iman is something else entirely. The official residence of Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah of Brunei is the largest residential palace on Earth. 1,788 rooms, 257 bathrooms, 5 swimming pools, a banquet hall seating 4,000 guests. Not a hotel, a private dining room inside one man's home. A mosque for 1,500 worshippers. Its own internal road network. Its own power plant. 3 helicopter landing pads. A throne room holding 2,000 people. 217 acres of land. Completed in 1984 for $1.4 billion. Replacement value today, $3 billion. At his peak, the Sultan was the wealthiest individual on Earth. He owned over 5,000 cars. He once hired Michael Jackson to perform privately at a family birthday party. Once a year, he opens the palace doors to any citizen of Brunei who wants to come. Thousands queue for hours. The Sultan stands at the entrance and greets every single one of them. The owner of the largest home on Earth, shaking hands with anyone who shows up. 1,788 rooms, and one man at the gate. From a $50 million neighborhood buyout in Palo, Alto, to a palace with 1,700 rooms in Brunei. That is the actual range of what the word home means at the very top. If this video delivered something, a like genuinely helps. And those videos on your screen right now are worth clicking. If this one kept you here, I think those will too.